Hi, welcome to episode number 16 of the DJJJ show. I'm your host, DJJJ, and we're going to listen to some great records today. We are going to chat with my buddy Gary, who is involved in building guitars. I won't tell you much more than that right now because we're going to talk to him very soon. But first I wanted to start off with some music, as always. This first song that you're going to hear today is from Ross Goldstein's highly underrated 2017 album, Inverted Jenny. Ross Goldstein has done some other albums since then, but this one I really dig. It's a pop rock kind of masterpiece in my opinion, although it doesn't seem to be a very well-known or popular record. But yeah, Ross Goldstein coming up first. Hopefully you like that. And then we'll hear some Mr. Water Wet from the Bought the Farm album on West Mineral. I've talked about that label a little bit before. I think you'll dig these tracks if you generally like what I play on the show. But yeah, after that we'll come back and we'll talk to my buddy Gary Cooper. See you then. All right, that was Gada Duman Trades by Mr. Water Wet. And before that, we heard Ross Goldstein with the song Green State.
Right on. So I'm DJJJ, also known as John Rogers. And today I've got another guest for us lined up to talk to us and play some good music. This is Gary Cooper. What's up, Gary?
Hey, John.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. I had a nice chill kind of, gloomy day outside, but it's been nice to just catch up on some rest and edit podcasts. What you been up to, man?
I have been working on a clear coat on a guitar body pretty much all day long today.
Okay, right on, man. Yeah, I was gonna start out with that because I know you and I know each other loosely from just music related stuff, but my impression is you build instruments and make guitars. And tell me a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so I've started a side business, kind of an LLC, where I'm known as Partscaster Concierge, and I'm primarily building guitar bodies.
Okay.
I do all kinds of custom shapes and cool woods and stuff like that, but I'm helping other kind of DIY guitar builders put together, neat projects, and then I'm doing full builds and all kinds of other fun stuff.
Gotcha. So in addition to like making guitars, you kind of find parts for other people that help them build what they want to make too. Is that right?
Yeah. I got started doing it as a hobby myself, coming from like the DIY background and like piecing things together. And a Partscaster is kind of like a Fender style bolt-on neck with, you know, a box of parts kind of that you would Frankenstein together a guitar.
Sweet. Okay.
So I kind of got started doing that, and there's Stratocaster and Tele shapes like all day long that you can find through different vendors.
Yeah.
But if you want to start doing, you know, different shapes, Jazz Masters, or even other brands outside of like Fender style stuff, it just gets to be a little more scarce. You got to go to luthiers, or, you know, there's just not as many resources.
Yeah.
So that's where I just kind of stepped in and learned how to make bodies and figured out, you know, scale length and how everything works and all that fun stuff.
When did you start playing guitar? How old were you?
Well, I mean, my first guitar, I think I was probably like 8 or 9.
Oh, right.
And yeah, I mean, if you can call it that, but my mom taught me how to play like Smoke on the Water riffs and stuff like that.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Had a like built-in amplifier speaker like right in the guitar. So
right
I probably got more serious about 13, 14.
Did you play with bands or just kind of do it on your own for fun?
I mean, in high school, it was mainly playing on my own for fun with different friends. We never really put together bands or anything like that too much. Probably early 20s or so, I kind of played in a couple different cover bands and stuff with friends in Yorktown. Right. Just getting together, you know, once a week and playing random songs. And out of that, I met my good buddy Nate Gonzalez, and then we started a group together with more electronics. And
yeah, right on. Is that St. Dismas?
Yeah, that was that project.
Got you. Right on. Is that still active, or you guys just kind of put it on hold for now?
Well, it's been on hold for quite a while. We did a bit of recording for well over a year or so, and put together more or less like an album's worth of material. Yeah. And just one thing led to another, and some things just kind of, we had to basically, you know, set it aside for a little while. And he's done a couple other bands since then, but here lately we've been talking about maybe sprucing it back up. So who knows?
You know, it's probably been 10, 12 years. I'm not even sure how long at this point, but I'll always remember you bringing me a little like synthesizer box that you put together that was just kind of like, hey, I just want you to have this. And, you know, I wasn't making a lot of music at the time, so I was like, dude, that's so nice, but I don't even like have any plans to make new music. And I remember our conversation was kind of, you were just like, well, if you ever do, now you have it. So and I actually have used that thing a lot, dude. It's like, it's still in my studio, so I tend to consult that little box. It's almost like the Hellraiser box in my mind, you know, like that little cube. But like, I'll see it on the shelf when I'm like running low on energy or not sure what I want to do next, and like just play with it, sample it. You know, I've made a few beats that kind of had those crazy like synth thing. What is that thing? It's like a tone generator.
Cool. Yeah, so it's called Pico Paso is the name of the circuit. It's by this guy. He goes by Dr. Bleep. He's based out of Texas. Okay. But he does a lot of DIY type projects, and he would design circuits, but they were more or less like kits. So when you bought them, you had to put them together.
Nice. Okay.
There was this group called Neon Indian that had one of his kits that actually came out with their album. So when you got it, you had this little kind of similar style synthesizer.
Oh, right on.
But the first time I saw Pico Paso, actually, I had saw the Flaming Lips, and Wayne Coyne is on stage just, you know, doing his thing. And it's like this between songs, just, you know, cool music, weird visuals. They're like leading up into something else. But in one hand, he has just like a little tiny contraption that you can't quite see. He's like got his fist balled up, and then the other hand is like spread out really wide, and he's got this like shop light, like a garage, just like light bulb on an extension cord. Yeah. And then as he opens his hands up, you know, the light's kind of far away, so it's making really low sounds, and it's super loud. So everything just starts going blah, and like your chest is rumbling and everything. And real dramatic. He starts bringing his hands closer together, which it makes the pitch get higher and higher and higher until the whole thing's just squealing. And I don't know, it was insane. So I had to figure it out. And the next couple of days I spent just like scouring what was that until I figured it.
Nice. So, yeah, that's awesome. Has that been, have you made other like synthesizers and kind of noisemakers in that same field, or just mostly guitars?
Yeah, I mean, I've been making stuff on and off for quite a while, I guess. I mean, going back that far. Different, you know, build your own guitar effects, pedals, kits, and stuff like that. Little DIY noise makers, oscillators, just sound generators, fun things to, sample and manipulate.
Yeah.
Run through speakers that probably aren't supposed to make those kind of frequencies and see what happens,
Right. Let's play a couple songs and then we'll come back and talk some more. This first one that's Gary's pick is Alton Gun, Kara Toprak. Do you know what's this band's story? Where are they from?
Dude, I don't really know much about them.
Gotcha.
I actually kind of stumbled across their album based off the artwork. It's really, really pretty and kind of simplistic and surreal, and just kind of picked it off of that, and they ended up being really, really interesting. So they've been in pretty heavy rotation.
Right on. Yeah, well, let's check that out, and then we'll hear another song after that, and we will be back to talk some more. So we are back. This is DJJJ. I'm talking to my buddy Gary. Those songs that you played were super great, man. And that last one was Klaus Johann Grob, Liebe am Strand. Know anything about that guy? I'm not very familiar.
I know that he's German and he writes really cool pop music.
Yeah, right on.
I haven't really dug in too much deeper than that. I kind of like the fact I don't speak any German, so I have no idea what the lyrics actually are. It's just audio aesthetics, I guess, for me for the most part, but it's just super cool stuff to listen to.
From the little bit I knew about the bands you picked to play, they're all over the world. You know, they're basically bands from all over the world singing in all kinds of different languages. So I can always appreciate that, man. Speaking of world, global situation, what's been your pandemic experience, man? I know it was kind of crazy and fucked up for just about everybody I've talked to. How have you been? We're kind of, I guess we're at the end of it now, or we're still trying to feel like it's the end of it.
Hopefully we're getting towards the end of it.
Right. What's that been like? Any major changes or crazy things happen?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been doing all this DIY building and, random projects just off and on for the longest time, it feels like. And I work full time for Best Buy and Geek Squad, hang TVs and home theater stuff, all that.
Right on.
When we went into COVID, I got furloughed for about a month or so, 6 weeks or so. They had us off, and everything was in limbo at that time. Nobody really knew what was going on or what to expect.
Yeah.
So I just decided to kind of take that time, and it really just took my hobby. I'd been building my garage into my own workspace, and just decided I had a little bit of 401k savings. I've got some money I've been setting back with the company, and just more or less pulled it out and turned it into the funds for the rest of my business that I need to get going.
Right on.
I filed the LLC and just took all that free time. I built 2 guitars that were kind of halfway started, but I finished 2 complete projects over the course of about 2 weeks, and just decided, like, if I've got all this time on my hands, I can really make this happen. So
yeah.
I initially, with my first couple of guitars, I had done there's all kinds of stuff going on at that time politically and protests and all this. And it's not really a whole lot I felt like I could do about it because it was all so far away. You can be conscious and be aware and all that, but keeping my distance from all of that, still felt like I wanted to be able to do something. And I set up this more or less like a raffle situation for a guitar, and it ended up bringing in a couple $1,000s. It got a few hundred people to kind of get their eyes on my Instagram account.
Nice.
I had some other people, build inquiries and stuff like that kind of came out of it, but it was just really cool to see, like, everybody paying attention, just because it's kind of tied to a good cause. The money's going to a good place. We ended up donating the money to various bail funds and NAACP projects, stuff like that, kind of related to what was going on, at the time. And that one went really well. And I made a promise, if we hit a certain goal, then we'd do another one. So I raffled off another guitar that did almost as well. And
nice.
Just really cool. I wanted to be able to, donate what I could out of. I make guitars, and that's not necessarily something that's going to help somebody, but if I can turn it into some cash and put that into a bail fund that's going to, benefit someone, then all for the better.
Has it continued to grow a lot since then? Like, are you able to reach people basically everywhere? Still kind of relying on word of mouth?
Yeah, so I've got my own website. It's partscasterconcierge.com, and people kind of go there to submit build inquiries and stuff. I noticed they come mainly from, like, podcasts that I've advertised on and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
A lot of my business comes from Instagram and direct contact, but because it's all internet based, I work with people that are really all over the world. I've done quite a few projects with some Canadian friends. I've shipped to the Dominican Republic. I've got a dude that has bought a guitar, and we actually end up talking to each other pretty much on a weekly basis ever since then.
Oh, nice.
Germany, a couple projects in Europe that have kind of went overseas. It's really cool, and yeah, it's really neat to think I've got chunks of wood that have went literally all over the world now at this point.
So yeah, let's play another song now. And this is a heavy on the guitars, man. I really like this song. It was a ripper. Kikagaku Moyo with Gatherings. Anything you want to say about this one?
Lots of fuzz, some pentatonics going on in there. and it's got some cool dynamics. It's not all loud. They've got some quiet to kind of set it off a little bit.
Right on. So let's hear that, and we'll be right back. Cool. So we're back. This is the DJJJ show, episode number 16. And my guest today is Gary Cooper. Welcome back, Gary. Thanks for picking those songs, man. It's been fun.
Yeah. This is awesome experience, man. I appreciate you having me on.
What's been some other stuff going on with you as far as music? Have you had any like favorite albums or artists that you discovered in the last year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Ty Segall fan.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He's like almost impossible to keep up with. There's so many projects. So his newest album is really cool. It's like the synth, I think, kind of, I don't know quite how to put my finger on it, but it just has like almost an 80s type tone, but it's still really new and kind of, I don't know, just sounds very vibrant. But it still has these really gnarly guitar garagey tones that he's known for. Yeah, so that one's been a lot of fun. I listen to that pretty heavy. I do a lot of Wu-Tang just on heavy rotation too, just by nature. The Ghostface Killah album, Sour Soul. It's been out for a few years, but it's pretty regular, probably weekly or more listening basis for me.
Have you seen the show about Wu-Tang? I was here, Buddy was telling me about that recently.
Yeah, that Hulu show is actually pretty good. I haven't got to catch anything from the second season, but it did keep my attention enough to make it all the way through the first. It works all the way up until they're starting to break with the 36 chambers. So
okay, hell yeah.
It's neat to see like backstory stuff that you always like hear the lore. You can read a book or whatever, but just a different medium to kind of take it in. It's pretty fun.
What about, this is what I've only recently gotten into more podcasts, but I have been asking people, is there any, like, do you have any favorite podcasts or radio type shows that you listen to?
I listen to a lot of like guitar gear related type shows. I'm doing a project with a group of guys in Canada called the Cultured Guitarist, Casper and Al. And I've built a couple guitar bodies for them, and they're doing a build series, kind of building everything out. And they're going to be doing some videos and some shows about like how they made their decisions, what went into their build planning wise, what they need to do to finish, assemble, set up, all that fun stuff. So I've been listening to their show for quite a while, a couple of years that it's been on really since they started, and just reached out. It's really cool to get to work with them. And then the other show that I listen to quite a bit is one my friend runs, Chris Swinney. It's called That One Time on Tour.
Okay, and, right on.
He's been in quite a few bands. He's more or less known for playing for the Ataris for a few years, but he's been in so many projects. He's just an amazing guitar player. But he's played with so many different groups. Brazil, when they went out, he filled in for them for a while. But he's been around, he's made so many connections. He just knows, it seems like, everybody in that scene. So he has a lot of cool musicians, people in and around the industry, some other guys that have made documentaries about bigger artists and stuff like that. He's had some cool conversations with. But yeah, That One Time on Tour, I dig that show quite a bit. Other podcasts I've been listening to, there's one, No Dogs in Space. It's The Last House on the Left kind of show. Same guy, I believe, but it's him and his wife talking about different bands. And a friend of mine had recommended it to me, and I listened to a 12-hour series on the Beastie Boys, and it was just super fun. It was a lot of stories that I had heard, but just kind of different perspectives and things like that. I ended up starting their show from the beginning, and they start off with the Stooges, and then they just go on band by band by band, kind of the progression of punk rock history, more or less. So
nice.
I've been reacclimating myself with a lot of music from that era. Going out and checking a lot of like Iggy Pop records that I'd not heard, like The Idiot I've been pretty obsessed with here the last couple weeks. It's got some cool songs on it, good tones.
Love that one. Yep.
But yeah, they did a series on The Damned. That one was really cool too. I don't know, I ended up listening to pretty much every episode of that entire show, so that one's been a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds cool. It's No Dogs in Space.
No Dogs in Space.
We'll check that out as well, man. That's good. You're like a cultural well for me right now. Give me some new stuff to check out, take some notes. So yeah, let's play some more music. And thanks, Gary, for joining me today, man. I really appreciate you talking to us.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I like getting the exposure and the interaction, and it's been awesome.
So yeah, let's last couple tracks that Gary picked out here is we've got Dungan. Is it pronounced Dungan? Do you know?
I believe so. I've heard it a couple different ways. But,
yeah, and Leclerc, and Dungan is they're Danish or something?
I believe so. Yes, definitely European.
Right.
I don't know a whole lot about their background either. I know the other band is Swiss.
Okay.
But they're more instrumental kind of pieces that I picked to finish up. So Dungan, I think, has a lot of like cool atmosphere and just layering and really cool chord progressions.
Yeah.
And the last track is a little more jazzy and slowed down, but it's got this cool kind of David Gilmour effect on the guitars. And
nice, man. Well, yeah, I'm stoked to listen to these again as well. So thanks, Gary, and appreciate you joining us today, man.
This is the band Dungan with Det du Tanker I dag R du Imorgon, and then the band Leclerc with C Oh No. I'm DJJJ. I will catch up with you in the next episode.